Welcome to MeatsPad, a platform dedicated to sharing breakthrough knowledge that is accessible to the meats industry. On each episode, we will hear from meat specialists and professionals to talk about numerous topics in meat science, including animal welfare, meat production, meat quality, food safety, and so much more.
Hello, meat folks. Welcome back to the MeatsPad podcast. Today, doing it a little bit different. We're now in the headquarters of here at Ultrasource in Kansas City. This week, we have the Academy. This is the first Academy of the year. We have up to 20 meat processors across the states and one young lady from Honduras. Maria, welcome to the MeatsPad podcast.
Hi, Francisco. No, thank you for having me here in the podcast and in the Academy. I think it's a great opportunity for me to take some knowledge back home to Honduras and try to apply it in Central America.
I know someone is killing to be here, and that is Dr. Phil Bass. We couldn't fly him here to be on this podcast, but I'm sure we'll be doing some stuff. Hi to Dr. Bass, and I've known Maria for almost a year. Since last year, we started in contact through some of projects that we're doing in Honduras to help small and mid-sized meat processors in Honduras and Central America in general. And I'm super excited because we're kind of getting back to our countries in a way, all the knowledge that we gain in grad school. I mean, I know you went to Texas Tech.
Yes.
I got your master's, and we'll be talking here in a minute about that. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing in Central America to help meat processors, and maybe the importance of having someone with a degree as a meat scientist helping them directly instead of just going back to the fundamentals and principles of meat science. And I think we got a very good examples. And to put a little bit stuff into context, we just recorded the Spanish one, and I think we got good stories to talk about.
Yes. No, Francisco. Although we spoke like a year ago for the first time, I'm sure in an RMC or something we crossed paths. But I'm glad we got to speak as of last year, and that you're here because in Central America there's great opportunity for producing our own meats. Basically, it's been a region that's always been sustainable, and that we can have our own productions, but we've seen a lot of opportunity in the value-added and processing area. And basically, that's what got me to contact basically Ultrasource and finding you here, which is a great advantage. And basically, the value of having someone that knows not only about process, but like the physical process, but also the science behind it, is something that you can rarely find, and is super important because your final product depends not only on the instructions of how you're going to add the ingredients, on how you're going to mix, but also knowing why you need to do it like that. And some people, and if you don't have that background, it will be just following instructions and just doing whatever you're told. But if you know the background and the reason why things are done that way, you can have at the end a better product.
Yeah, and I think that's what I think sets us apart from other people. Like everyone here at Ultrasource and folks and people like you, they're helping us in with these projects in Latin America. We all know or have a meat science degree, which I think we can bring a lot to the table. So you were telling us here in a minute a while ago that so there are people in Honduras processing their own meat, and I love the quote, and I keep bringing it up when Dr. Calkins said, so the meat processor has the quality in their hands, and 100% correct, right? Yeah. I mean, all the practices, antemortem and postmortem that you have in place in your facility, they're going to dictate the quality you're getting.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that we're discussing in the Spanish one. That in Honduras you have the small processors slaughtering and processing their own beef, but also there's some folks that are importing a lot of meat.
Yes.
And they're bringing a value-added business when it comes to either marinating or portioning. Could you tell us a little bit about the update or the current status of the meat industry in Central America?
Okay, so one of the biggest opportunities in the region is a value-added. I was mentioning that we can provide our own meat sources, but basically finding that quality is something that we have to work. We have a lot of work to do in the region, basically. And the thing is that most of the production in the region is dual purpose. So you have your dairy breed, and usually historically it's been crossed with, for let's say, Brahman. And then the little bull that's born, it's usually finished on pasture, on the mountains, or now, as of maybe 8 years ago, the feedlot and the finishing portions has gotten some momentum. And the female that's born, it just continues on the dairy part. So having that is blocking for us to have some quality produced there in Honduras. And the influence of the imports having high marbling steaks and different type of American cuts, we call them down there, like the ribeye, the tomahawk, has influenced Honduras mostly to start to look for those beef producing high quality breeds. And that's something that we need to start. That's the initial starting point of the industry. And then with value added, you just make that a little bit better and give your consumer some convenience. At the end of the day, we all work now, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, like we just need to get home and open that bag and just toss it on the skillet and not waiting for it to marinate. And then, I forgot to bring the onion, the onion salt or anything. I just need to have that package ready.
Just warm it up.
And feed the kids. So that's basically the mechanism right now, at least in Honduras. I know Costa Rica is more advanced in the genetics part. They have a lot of Brangus, and they work with Cimental just to keep some of that dairy there. So Honduras is a little slow on that, and also our cattle numbers. That's something super important. But imports have helped a lot to get the producers, which is the starting point in that mindset.
You know, what's I don't know. It's okay if you don't know, but the consumption, like the per capita. Do you know, or Honduras? Do you eat a lot of meat, or what's the?
If we talk about the Central American countries, so Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica, let's just talk about those 5. Honduras, its consumption would be like in 4th place. It's meat consumption and also now production. 4th or 3rd place. Nicaragua basically is a leader right now in beef production and makes it consumption also because it's very readily available.
Yep.
And then Honduras has had its up and downs, and it's very fluctuating, but Costa Rica is right there also, and also producing that high quality. And I think the situation, tourism helps a lot because you have to offer the consumers, the tourists, high quality stuff. So those are external factors that help the industry grow.
All the food service, right? All the restaurants, hotels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And So I really like the statement. So you got a lot of importing meat from the United States, getting to Central America, basically. And now this is this tendency of small producers saying, well, people like high quality. What do we need to have? What do we need to do to start producing a higher quality beef or pork, or you name it? How much it's important, how much is produced in Honduras? You know that, or maybe like a ratio?
Like the ratio, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that, but the imports have increased the last 2 years. The thing is, with the amount of industry in the country has gone down significantly. We have one beef major plant, and one they do pork also. So that is incentivizing like the imports. We really need to work on providing that higher quality beef.
Okay. I know you did your master's at Texas Tech, and you work a lot with small, mid-sized meat processors. Could you please tell us a little about your project, what you did for your master's, how you helped the processors in Honduras, and I'm interested in this.
Yeah, basically in Honduras, as I said before, the industry isn't very big, or there's a lot of information on the meat side. So I worked with Dr. Mark Miller and Mindy Brashears. We did some sensory panels in Honduras. Basically, we compared U.S. beef. We had choice and select against feedlot-produced cattle in Honduras and pasture-grazed cattle in Honduras. And basically, it was the baseline of information the country had with what do consumers like. Yeah. So at the end, obviously, and we did the same. We brought steaks here to Honduras, here to the States. So
you brought meat from Honduras to the States.
Yes. So we brought the both pasture fed and the feedlot finished, grain finished here, and we fed consumers. And obviously in Honduras, they loved the choice. And people over there, oh, no. I don't like to see those specks. I don't like to see that fat. But when you cook it for them and when you feed it to them, they love it. Obviously, it's fat and it's juiciness and it's flavor. They loved it. But the interesting thing was against the 200 treatments. So they liked the pasture-fed over the grain-fed.
In Honduras or in the States?
In Honduras. The consumers preferred the grass finished. So it was like, why? So we dug a little deeper and we found out that those cattle finished on grain, they were fed with a high peanut meal diet. So basically we concluded that
confounded.
That might probably affected the flavor profile on that fat, so that wasn't liked to the consumers in Honduras. So it was a really nice starting point, and then from there on, we had more trials, more projects, because then we started with the feedlot project. So we had different sites around the country, and just basically we did as many combinations as we could. Injected the strip loins, and we fed them and this diet with this type of meal, with the shrimp meal, with a palm kernel meal, with molasses, high amounts of molasses. So we did every type of combination that we were able from about 2013 to 2017, 18-ish. Yeah.
Wow. I find it very interesting. The you're saying that visually the consumers in Honduras they prefer the the lean, right? I mean,
Yeah, lean.
so culturally speaking, also in Mexico, Latin America, people like lean meat.
Yes.
But when they taste it, they taste the American or the grain fed.
They love it.
They love it. So it's
Yeah.
one of the things we just culturally we're used to.
But you know what? I think this is what imports have helped with is the American cuts. So basically, you have that ribeye that has the specs and the fat, and that's something that we didn't have before, like at the supermarket, and now we have it. So I think consumers are being educated with that information that, okay, if you see a steak and you see that fat, it's fine. But if they see like over there for grilling, we do like strips of meat and we toss it to the grill. If they see that with a lot of fat, they'll trim it all up. Those you're not allowed to have fat on.
Mhm.
But I think they're starting to understand that, like on those steaks, on those American cuts we call them, it's okay to have some fat.
I think we're almost to the end of this episode. I think I like what you brought us. So Maria, she started a journal. We call it a journal. Back in November last year.
Yeah,
it's named Carnología. That's the name of the journal, and I like how through education. Can you tell us a little bit how this started? What motivated you to start this journal, this channel to communicate to consumers and producers?
Yeah. So basically, in Honduras, I would sit like in restaurants or in conversations with friends, and I would hear different opinions and conversations about meats. Basically, topics like aging and marbling, and I knew I heard some information that was incorrect and people talking different things about the meat industry that it wasn't like correct. So I was like, okay, this is where we draw the line. Someone has to do something about it. So I decided to basically put in paper, and also we have the Instagram and Facebook, out there information that's backed up on science and that's backed up by professionals. So every month it just has one main article, a myth section, and then a recipe section. And every month I have like a professional talk about something related, a topic related to meats. We also have a section where small meat stores, ever since right before the pandemic and during pandemic, meat stores are a boom because people had to go to the corner of their residencies and buy their foods. They wouldn't be able to go to supermarkets. So a lot of people just opened up small meat stores. And we have a section where small meat stores can announce themselves, and we have it categorized by state. So if you're in one state and you're going to spend the weekend in another one and you need to check out where to buy meats, you can just go ahead and look it up. And it's been really good because most of those meat stores sell imported and locally produced meats. So it's helping the local producer and also having consumers have great quality meat.
Perfect. I think I find it very interesting, and I think I'm very glad that you came to the academy, that you came to this in-person short course on meat processing. I think this is good. We're currently working on several projects in Central America, helping small processors either on the value added or on the production side of things. We have a very good examples. One of the first projects that we had was a beef slaughter facility, small, basically run by the city, which is very common in Central America. We call it rastro municipal, which is
municipal plants.
Municipal processing plant, right? It's most of the times is ran by the actual city. Tell us about this. I know she came to me and said, "Do you have something for stunning?" Because tell us a little bit about that story. I think it's one of the reasons again that we're here to support processors in our countries and help them to improve the quality overall of their meat.
So, as being run by the city, those are government funds, and basically this municipal plant was built around 1990, so it's 31 years old now. And after it was built, it was equipped with everything. But throughout time, funds, I guess, didn't keep on running through the facility. And the meat industry, you have to be giving maintenance and taking care of your equipment and everything. And we were in 2021, and they were using an axe to split the carcasses. They were using a knife to knock the animals. So basically, they just stuck a knife behind
on the neck,
and I was like, okay, I can't let this go on. As a meat scientist, and as I know that there's some investments that are not too costly, like to have a hand stunner.
Yeah.
So I was basically contacted Francisco, and from now on we have multiple projects. And it's funny because I told Francisco, okay, for the hand stunner, I need one that looks like a gun. So the person in charge, the operator in charge of stunning, he is okay with doing this change because I don't know if it happens here, but resistance to change in Latin America is very big. So even if it makes the process easier and faster, they always like it to do it how they're used to.
They're reluctant.
Yeah. So, okay, changing from knife to a stunner, it has to be something cool. So I was like, okay, give me the one that is in shape of a gun because they're going to think it's cooler. So we started that way, and yeah.
Yeah, and they ended up getting that and the captive vault. I think it was a cache and the backup as well with the 25 caliber for beef and I mean, this is a good story. I think through being creative. I think it's underrated. Even in our comfort zone, we can be creative and help other people by using that. And we also, I think during that project we had, you talk about that splitting saw. We ended up, I like that picture when we shipped that IFA 287 for the splitting saw, and you sent me that picture with all those guys installing it and in the back with the saw. I think that one of the things like that made my day, and one of the things when I was telling you on the Spanish one that I was recently in Peru with our friends from USMEF in South America with Jessica Holka, and I had the opportunity to go in some plants and just try to help some folks that in this case they didn't have, so they were injecting and marinating some inside skirts, and the processor's like, this is not working. It's not tenderizing. It's tough. And one of the things, like, I started looking into the process, and they were freezing the product immediately after injection. So they were not letting the enzyme work. We're talking about that stuff. So, and then I think this is what gets us going. Like,
and basically those calls, and after we installed that IFA, and we used it for the first time, everyone started clapping. So you can see, and those little things are the things that make a change. The thing is having the right equipment available for the right process, because they were being offered huge splitting saws, for example, that they didn't need because they only processed 30 head per day. So it's just having that availability of having the right equipment for your process is the best thing. And as I sent a video to Francisco, everyone clapping and cheering after they split their first carcass, and at least 10 years splitting with an axe. It was something.
It was needed.
Very needed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's, as I said, that's why we're here. I mean, we have this passion for the meat industry, and after I got that call from that processor, like the next day, oh, what you told me,
exactly.
those tips and recommendations that you brought up worked. Now my product is tender and is ready to go. And I think that's just why we're here, to support small processors and meat-side processors. And I think we're getting to the end. Thank you a lot for being here at Ultrasource with this academy. I hope you learn a lot. We're about to go to see the product show with all the products that we made. Thank you a lot.
No, thank you, Francisco, for having me, and we're gonna keep on working together.
Perfect. Thank you, guys, and if you just keep reminding you, if you can follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, YouTube. Also, just click on that little bell for subscribing, so you can get all the updates on the new episodes that we publish. Thank you a lot for your help. Thank you a lot for joining us today, and we'll see you the next time.